So as our Japan trip comes to a close, I want to talk about something that maybe others can relate to, especially if you're from Hawaii and you go to Japan. It's something I like to call Japan fatigue, and maybe this applies to other places as well when you go on vacation for an extended period of time. But I noticed this especially when we've gone to Japan, which for me this is Japan trip number 4, and it's that each and every time I go to Japan, there's like this sweet spot for the number of days that I can be in Japan, and then I have that craving where I just miss Hawaii. I miss being back at home, and so I want to talk about this Japan fatigue. Can't wait to have a plate lunch. By the way, we got to stay here at the Toy Story Hotel here in Disneyland, thanks to my in-laws for helping us with the reservations and trying to figure out this whole thing. Now here's the thing I've noticed with all of my trips to Japan. At about the 10-day mark, that's about my limit. After 10 days, I'm like, man, I gotta get home. And it's really several things that contribute to this, because Japan is so amazing, right? Like, you talk about the food, right? Everyone loves the food, everyone loves the shopping, everyone loves, you know, how clean it is, how nice everybody is, like all these wonderful things people mention. And yet by about day 10, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home, which is quite interesting because it takes me about 4 to 5 days just to adjust to the time difference, which if you think about a 10-day vacation, that'd be like half the vacation, and then the other half would basically be just me enjoying myself, and then it's like, okay, time to go home already. But first, let's talk about the food, okay? Because while Japanese food is absolutely amazing, I think after a while it doesn't become Japanese food. It's just food, and it's one of those things where maybe too much of a good thing isn't necessarily a good thing. So for example, I love onigiri. I love musubis, rice balls, and my favorite is the tuna mayo ones from like the convenience store. But I've eaten so many onigiris on this trip, at least 2 a day on average, and it's like, okay, maybe I can take a break with the onigiris and I don't have to have another one. And I think it's because it loses its specialness after a while. It doesn't become Japanese food, it's just normal food. And when the food is so good all the time, I think sometimes you just think to yourself, maybe there might be something else. So we've eaten like McDonald's, we've eaten KFC, we've been eating Pizza Hut here, just to have some American type of food. And even when we go to, you know, places like here where they have hotel buffets, I find myself gravitating more towards like the Western type of food. I mean, of course they have the Japanese breakfast stuff, the fish and all of that, but actually I found that it's the American food that I'm like, oh man, it reminds me of home. And although I love the shopping here, watches and bags in particular, clothes, shoes, you can only buy so much because you know that you gotta bring it all back home, so you can't go like overly crazy. But at the same time, like, that thrill, I find that it kind of loses its edge. I mean, if you're going out shopping every single day, it gets a little bit boring, and it's nothing that we would do back home in Hawaii. Like, we would never go shopping unless you maybe consider like Ross or something like that, but you would never go shopping that much in Hawaii. And so I think that over consumerism, I think it kind of wears on you after a while. At least it does for me. I had a really interesting experience at Nakano Broadway, which, if you're not familiar with that place, it has all this electronics and toys and comics, but there's this one floor that they just have watches, and yes, they all look real good. Some of those luxury high-end watches, absolutely beautiful. But I noticed that as I was walking around, not that I bought one, but as I was walking around, I just noticed that, you know, it just kind of felt a little bit empty. If I were to buy one of these watches, that would be it, right? Like, I could never buy anything else because the price would be so high, even with the exchange rate. And so the shopping part of it, to me, it kind of just loses its edge. And the third thing I want to mention is I guess the culture, the things that we as locals, we absolutely love about Japan, right? Like the safety, how nice everyone is, and frankly how quiet things are, because I don't really hear anything as much, because I don't really understand Japanese. So it's a very, very big silence when it comes to just being out and about. I don't hear anything. I think after a while I realized that that's not, like, this is not real life. Like, if I want real life, I see the other people, they're on a train at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's not, that was what real life would be. Like, for us locals, it'd be like going in traffic on the H1 every day. Like, that's not fun. You know, like, the Japanese tourists who come to Hawaii, they stay in Waikiki, you know, they can wake up late, they go walk across the street, and they go to the beach, and like, that's like their vacation experience. But that's not real life. And I realized that as a tourist from Hawaii going to Japan, it's not, that's not, this lifestyle is not real life. Like, I'm experiencing Japanese culture, but it's sort of like the same that tourists experience when they come to Hawaii. Like, that's not real. And if I were to ask, Japanese people, like, what's life really like in Japan? It's not going out shopping, it's not going out eating all the time, it's working late, going in the train, being smashed in the train, right? Like, I don't know if you've been smashed in the train, but I've been smashed in the train, like, on the glass on the opposite side, and they're pushing people in, and it's like, it's pretty tight. But like, that's a regular experience, right? You got to go to work, you don't come home from work till like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I think experiencing that visitor or tourism lifestyle, at least for me, after a while it just gets kind of boring. Like, I mean, like, staying in places like this is absolutely wonderful, but the fact is, it's kind of boring, right? Like, when you're doing nothing all the time, it's kind of boring. And I hate to say this, but in a lot of ways I feel like I want to go back to work. And I know it sounds crazy, because when I get back to work, I just think, oh gosh, I can't wait for the weekend and to get days off. But when you're vacationing so much, and it's just this constant long cycle, I think sometimes we kind of miss that routine that we used to have back home. And let me just close by saying this. This kind of reminds me of when I used to come back home to Hawaii from the mainland after school, like for college. So I'd come back home for summer breaks, I'd come back home for winter breaks. But there would be a moment when I'd come back, probably about maybe 2 weeks in, that I'd be thinking to myself, man, I gotta get back. I gotta go back to the mainland, because although I loved spending time with my friends, eating local food, and the weather, and all of that good stuff, man, I just missed my life back there. Like, my life wasn't in Hawaii anymore at the time, because I was going to school. It was back in Colorado, it was back in Oregon. And I remember those times thinking, that's weird. Like, why do I feel like I want to just get out of here? Like, I looked forward so much to coming back home. And I think it's because I realized that I'm just sort of a visitor. And as a visitor, it's supposed to be transient. You know, it's not supposed to be forever. And I think this type of lifestyle, number one, it's not sustainable. But number two, I think for one's mind, for oneself, it's just, I don't think it's very healthy to do in the long term. And so for me, this is a 2-week trip. We knew that well ahead of time. We did a lot of great stuff on this trip. The past trip I went on, I think it was like almost 3 weeks. That was like definitely way too long for me personally. But I think it's about the 10-day mark for me. And granted, it's very different when we have kids. Our kids, they probably don't mind being on vacation. They get to stay in, you know, places like this or Airbnb. You know, just, we've been very blessed, and we have wonderful opportunities to stay in some wonderful places. So for them, I think it's okay. But for me, man, I can't wait to get back. This is our last day. We'll be going back, and I actually look forward to, you know, to going back home, because I miss Hawaii. You know, I miss the people. I miss my family. I miss just the routine that we used to have. Miss our home. But I don't know if other people experience this too. I mean, I know a lot of Hawaii people go to Japan, and sometimes they think, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go back. And that's absolutely true. When I get back to Hawaii, I probably will be thinking to myself, gosh, I cannot wait to go back to Japan. But I think for me, there's definitely a limit to playing tourist. There's a limit to being a visitor and living this type of lifestyle. And it's also different too, because I got 2 young kids. Maybe for people who don't have kids, or their kids are older, you know, maybe it's not that big a deal. But, you know, for me personally, 10 days is the limit. But I would love to know what other people think, what their limits are on specifically Japan. I think, you know, anytime you go on vacation, maybe it's about a week, but like specifically Japan because of how amazing Japan is, and the ties to local culture. You know, like rice and, you know, take off your shoes and all of this stuff. You know, and Japan's such a wonderful place. You know, it's such a wonderful place, and the thing is, they don't even have to advertise to us locals. We love to come back, but there is a limit to individual stays, I guess. And I'd love to know what other people have to think. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and aloha.
Hello.